Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're heading to go and pick up a VW Golf that I've bought, and on the face of it, it doesn't sound very exciting. It's a 2008, it's red, 3-door. I think it's a match spec, which means it doesn't have much spec about it at all, and it's a 1.4 petrol. So it isn't exactly the sort of stuff to get your pulse racing, is it? Well, not so fast. This one has done, you ready for this? 7,000 miles. 7,000 miles in 15 years. The previous owner sadly passed away around 3 years ago, so it's just been sitting on his driveway ever since. I haven't actually seen this yet, I've only seen the photographs, but I paid for it and had it delivered to my car park. When I tell you how much I've paid for this, you'll think I'm mad. But before you pass any judgment, remember recently I bought a 2005 Golf, again with low mileage. That one had done about 22, which in comparison does seem a bit leggy. That one was the same sort of scenario. An elderly guy bought it brand new and then sadly passed away. Now I think, and I can't quite remember because I've slept since then, but I think I paid £2,500 for that one, the grey one, and then I sold it for about 4.5. But it did need a service, a full service, tyres, all that sort of stuff. And I'm expecting this one to be exactly the same because it's been sitting for so many years. It needs a very thorough clean as well, because from the photographs you can see this one's just covered in moss and mould. I think the battery will probably be shot as well. You'd imagine after sitting for 3 years there won't be any life in it, will there? I expect it'll need a set of tyres as well. When a car's been sitting in the same position for years and hasn't moved, the tyres get a little flat spot. Now I've paid, and again you'll think I'm mad here, I've paid £3,000 for this car, which I'll admit sounds like a fortune for a 2008 1.4 petrol Golf, but I'm fairly sure this could be worth double that. I might have to spend £1,000 on it, but I'm pretty sure there's a couple of grand profit here beneath all this filth. What's that saying? Where there's muck, there's money, or something like that? Where there's... I don't know. Anyway, let's go and have a look, shall we? Well, we're here. What an absolute state. I think it looks like I've paid 10 times too much for this. That looks like a £300 car. Looks like it's only worth its weight. Oh, it gets worse around this side. Look at the state of that. Don't despair though, because I think I can spin this around. Oh dear, it looks dead. It looks like one of those cars that you see at Malaga Airport that's been there for 5 years. Oh wow, how can something get so mouldy so, well, I say quick, it's been parked up for 3 or 4 years. Right, this one should be quite interesting. Let me do a vehicle history check using Car Vertical. It'll tell us a bit more about the car. It's really easy to use. All you do is go to carvertical.com, type in the vehicle reg or the VIN number, which in this case is Mike Victor, so it's a Manchester car, 58, November, Zulu, Juliet. This is currently checking millions of cars across dozens of countries' databases. It'll tell us whether it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. But the thing I'm really excited about checking today is the MOT history. I want to see when it was last MOT'd and if there are any advisory items. I also am intrigued to see how many miles a year it's done. I'm guessing about 500. That should be really satisfying to watch being cleaned. All those years of grime and mould should come straight off. Right, and the report's ready, just like that. So that is a VW Golf. It is indeed. No mileage fraud was disclosed by the report. It's never been stolen, never been involved in any accidents, and there's no outstanding finance. Perfect. It was registered in the UK in September 2008. The ownership changed in October 2008, so that would have been a VW pre-reg car probably, or a demonstrator or something like that. And then it's been in private ownership ever since, or one private owner. Ah, no way. I was told this had been parked up for 3 years, but I think it's been much longer than that. That car's last MOT was 2016. 7 years ago. It passed, but it advised both front tyres cracked. I don't think I've ever bought anything that's been parked up for so long. Now, in 2016, it had done 6,200 miles. So at some point then in 2017, because I'm told it's done 7,000 miles now, at some point in 2017, it's been parked up. So 6 years it's been sitting. No wonder it looks like that, is it really? It's provided valuation as well. So the approximate market value of this car when the seller's a company is £4,439. I actually think it's worth a lot more than that. I think it's sort of £6,000 all day long. What's weird though with that kind of car, it makes you wonder who's going to buy it. Because for £6,000 you could get a much newer Golf with, you know, average mileage of 50,000. And because it isn't a GTI or an R32, I would be very surprised if that sits in someone's collection. Why would you bother collecting something like that? A 3-door match. By the way, if you want to do one of these checks for yourself, and I urge you to do so before you hand over any cash, either click the link below in the video description or use the promo code HIGHPEAK and you get 10% off each and every vehicle check that you do. Download as PDF. That's a good point, actually. Somebody mentioned this to me, that they'd pay for a car vertical check, but I think after a month it expires. So if you want to go back and check it over, you need to download it as a PDF, and then it's saved forever. Right, let's go and have a look then, shall we? I'm quite excited about this. 6 years it's been languishing, and it's about to get some love and attention. Well, the weather's nice today for a change. Ah, that reminds me, this isn't a sponsored video, by the way, but I'm doing an upcoming sponsored video with Y Foods. They're really good. They're not paying me to say that either. Right, so here we go. Straight away, I'm worried because this is a red car. The paint fades really quickly on red cars. I'm just hoping that if I take this for a full detail clean and buff, it should come back. Because it's just been parked on someone's driveway for years. I mean, look at all the moss there, look. That's terrible, isn't it? It's like a shed roof. Right, so on this side we've got these should be the original tyres, shouldn't they, on 7,000 miles. That is a Continental Conti Eco Contact 3. That should be, yeah, 25th week of 08. They're very old tyres then, aren't they? So, and you can see them cracking as well. That needs to be replaced. We need to thoroughly clean it, get rid of all this moss, give it a buff. Look at it all, everywhere. Down here, I mean, on the bright side, the bodywork's very tidy. You know, level, isn't dented. These tyres look like they've been flat. They look all worn. In fact, you can sort of see the line. That was probably upside down on the driveway. And again, this should be the original tyre. So, where's the date? Yeah, 25th week of 08. We need 4 tyres then, don't we? I think decent ones too. Moving around to the front then. Like I say, I don't think those headlamps are cloudy. I think they're just covered in moss. Obviously, we need new reg plates, unless they'll clean up. Might be able to keep it nice and original. We've got a little bit of lacquer peel here. Always happens on red cars. That's going to need painting. How's the rest of the bonnet looking? We'll have to see. We'll have to see if the lads over at Tameside Valeting have got some products there that they can put on the bonnet and the rest of the paintwork and try and get it looking right. This front bumper needs painting then, doesn't it? Because we've got a little mark down there which has nudged that fog lamp blanking cover thing out. I get really excited about projects like this. Just hoping it hasn't gone too far. We've got a damaged wing mirror. That was explained to me actually. That needs to be replaced, but it's not even a colour-coded mirror, so the indicator's damaged there. That shouldn't be too expensive, maybe 50 quid or something. Look at this. Have you ever seen anything like that before? Unfortunately as well, we've only got one key. I'm told there is a second, but it's in the previous owner's house and they've yet to clear it. So there might be, I'm sure there is a second, I just don't have it today. Around this side, yep, we've got 4 matching Continentals and they're all as old as God's dog. This side's even worse. This one's been exposed to the elements, I think. I'm sure though, that feels horrible, I'm sure with the right products, this would look $1 million. I just noticed a slight dent somewhere. Where was it? Can't see. Moving around the back, someone's put some sort of sticker on the back there. Perhaps when it was towed, I don't know. And I'm guessing it's flat. We need a new rear reg plate. In fact, yeah, I'll put new reg plates on it. That rear one has seen better days, hasn't it? Well, should we have a look inside then? I've got my booster pack with me. That's in the boot of my car. I'm expecting this will be flat. Oh, it stinks. Oh. Oh dear. That smells, and I don't wish to be disrespectful here. It smells like an old folks home or a hospital ward. That stinks. We got any power at all? No, completely dead. Original mats though. I always hate to buy something when someone's passed away because it's quite depressing, isn't it? You always find their personal effects, and I just think it's a bit sort of disrespectful to start rooting around. Got someone's blue badge there. and Manchester City Council Christmas. What year is that from? No idea. Oh wow, look at the state of that. My gas strut still works. I was expecting to find some sort of dead animals in here or something. There's no rust though. This, with a proper detailed clean, will look like a new car. Need new wiper blades, I think. They've perished. Wonder when it was last serviced. I'll have to have a look through the history. It hasn't had MOT since 2016. I expect the servicing's exactly the same. It has just done nothing, this car, has it? I suppose technically if it's been sitting for 6 or 7 years, I shouldn't really start it, should I? Fuse box that. We've got a Varta battery. I don't think that's the original. That looks quite modern actually. I wonder if there's a date on it. Can't see a date. Right, so where can I rest this? It's quite a small engine, the 1.4, isn't it? Seems to be plenty of space in here, which is unusual. Right, should have some life now. I think I need to put these windows down immediately and try and get rid of this smell. Ugh. Look at that, 7,461 miles. Spanner lights on. We've got half a tank of fuel. That fuel might have gone off even, you know, if it's been parked up for 6 or 7 years. Do you just try and crank it? Well, that straight away sounds as sweet as a nut. We've got some warning lights on, I'm guessing because of the flat battery. Oh, look at that. I know this will only be relevant for people from the northwest, but it just flashed up Imagine Radio 104.9 and it hasn't been known as Imagine for years. Galaxy even, that's now capital. Q103 is now Hits. Like going back in time, this. 1061 Rock. Everything's changed names. It's like a trip down memory lane. Right, we've got a business card there for a, don't know, butcher. It's in Polish, I think. Church there. Some McDonald's. Napkins. A couple of napkins there. Morrison's bag. Right, service history then. Sounds quite sweet, that. Oh, look at that. Fuel tank, 55 litres. Handwritten on the back of an Eon bill. Service book then, service book. We've got some receipts there from VW. Tips and maintenance. It's not that one, is it? Where's my service book? Oh, there we go. Service schedule. Okay. Well, I'd like to see 1, 2 or 3. That would do. It's done 7,000 miles, so if it's had a couple of oil changes, we should be good. Ah, right. Service 1. That was done at 1,600 miles from the supplying dealer in 2011. So when it was 3 years old, it had only done 1,600 miles. And I think, guys, I think that's the last one. So it's had one service. One service at 1,600 miles 12 years ago. What we're going to have to do then with this is get it down to my workshop and get them to give it a full service, spark plugs, all the fluids and filters and all that sort of stuff, just to bring it up to date. In there we've got nothing at all. I mean, the inside's quite clean, apart from that smell. Some dog hairs, but I'm sure they'll vacuum out. And the headlining, look, everything is like new. The seats and everything really needs minimal work on the inside. I wonder what my clutch is like. Yeah, very light. And here we've got a United Utilities pen. What else? We've got heated mirrors. Electric windows, they work. Very good. We got any glasses? Oh, I hate finding stuff like this. We've got some sunglasses there. Tortoise shell style. In here we've got nothing. What about this one? Nope. Look at the mark on the windscreen where the wipers have been. It just really needs a very, very thorough clean, this. We've got a stick here to say your next service is due in 2013. Right, well, because of its lack of MOT, I can't drive this. But I mean, look at the steering wheel and everything. Everything's like brand new. There's just no wear on anything at all. Yeah, I think I can turn this into a car. Let's have a look in the boot, see if there's any treasure. Ah, jerry can. I think I'll take that to work. That's always handy to keep. Umbrella. What looks like a deck chair, is it? A couple of little stools there. Got a bed sheet there to protect the boot liner. No, they haven't been in business for years, going places. Were they bought by TUI or Thomas Cook or somebody? A brand new spec. It's all like new, look at this. Brand new. I love buying stuff like this. Well, hang on, I better disconnect my booster pack. Tricky to do this one-handed. I can't take this on the roads because there's no MOT, but I could take it around this car park because it's private land. Should we give it a run out, see what it's like? Don't really want to go very quickly because those tyres are ancient. Brakes are grinding, it's going to need new discs and pads this, I think. So 4 new tyres, 4 new brake discs and pads. Full service, MOT. And let's get it looking like a 7,000 mile car. Well, it actually drives okay. And the warning lights have gone off. That's interesting. There's now obviously enough charge in the battery. So my alternator's working fine. Does my aircon work? As somebody said, I didn't know this was a thing, but somebody said it always takes 2 minutes or so to kick in anyway. Don't know how true that is. Well, it drives okay. We'll do one more lap and then I'm going to park it up before I get dizzy. I'm going to have to get it trailered down to my workshop then, and I think I'll catch up with you. Oh yeah, that's working nicely. Ice cold aircon. What a nice little thing this could be. Let me get it trailered down to my mechanics then, and I'll catch up with you in, give me a week or two. This might need a couple of weeks. Right, I'll catch up with you shortly. And we're back in the old Golf. I say old Golf, it is technically an old Golf, but it feels like new. 7,478 miles, and it genuinely feels like, well, like new old stock. This probably won't come as any great surprise to you now, but I have spent massively on this car. Massively. Because the mileage was so incredibly low, I couldn't cut any corners, so I've done absolutely everything. After we last spoke, I took it down to my mechanics for a full service and just a general check over. They also put a brand new battery on it because the old one was, well, goosed. They replaced all the fluids, all the filters, new spark plugs, new wiper blades, absolutely everything. Then when I picked it up from there, I was having a chat with my mechanic and I said, oh, what were the tyres like? Because they were original. You know, 15-year-old tyres isn't very good. And she said, well, it passed its MOT with no advisory items. There's nothing wrong with the tyres. So I thought, well, I know they're 15 years old. I can't really sell this with confidence. So I asked her to put 4 brand new Continental tyres on. I chose Continentals because I wanted to keep it completely original, and they were the tyres it had from factory. So 2 days later I went down to my mechanics again to collect it for the second time. I was having a chat with them, and I said, they're quite a good engine these, aren't they? They're chain driven, they're quite reliable. And they said, no, this particular one, this 1.4, has got a belt. So I thought, I'm going to have to replace that as well, aren't I? The interval will be, I don't know, 80,000 miles or 6 or 7 years, but it's now 15 years old, and it's only a piece of rubber that will perish. So I left it there again and asked for a new timing belt and new water pump. This is what I'm saying, I couldn't really cut any corners with this because I'm going to be asking such a huge premium for it. Everything had to be mint. I finally, third time lucky, picked it up from my mechanics and then took it to the paint shop. If you remember, it had a little bit of lacquer peel on the front bumper and the rest of the paintwork was quite flat. So I've had a full buff and they've repainted the front bumper and it now looks like new. All those years of grime and everything just washed straight off. I was quite lucky with it. While it was down at the paint shop, Jimmy the Magician took off the old wheel trims and painted the steel wheels black. And then rather than put the old faded wheel trims back, guess what I did? I called VW Stockport and ordered 4 brand new wheel trims. Who does that? Nobody. But, in my defence, it does look like new now. Freshly painted steel wheels, brand new trims, new tyres. It looks, well, chef's kiss. Then I took it to the valeter for a good old detail valet. They've also detailed the engine bay and it now looks proper. I got it back to work and fitted some new reg plates. I also got the lads from Dents to come out and pop out some tiny little dents that I could see in the body. So I thought what I'd do now on this beautiful summer's day is park up somewhere and I'll talk you through my costs. Quick spoiler alert though, it is well over £2,000. Bear in mind I spent £3,000 on the car in the first place. I've spent in excess of £2,000. I don't know the exact figure, but I was just trying to tot it up in my head and it is well over 2. Right, well here we'll do then. Right, yeah, there were other jobs here that I haven't mentioned. So I got a spare key cut, that was £150. The detailed valet cost me £120. The dent master was £54, that includes VAT. Number plates were £15. That's the receipt there for the dents. Right, so my first bill at my mechanics for a full service basically and a clean MOT was £462.09. So it's had an oil filter, oil, air filter, pollen filter, spark plugs, battery, 3 wiper blades, an aerial. That's right, the old aerial had perished, so I ordered a brand new one. Near side repeater and near side mirror glass. They were quite cheap actually. The repeater was £26 and the mirror glass was only £15. Labour, MOT test fee, so yeah, £462. 4 Continental tyres cost me £288 plus VAT, so £345.60. Trying to do this in order. The water pump and cam belt kit and antifreeze and labour cost me £329.91 plus VAT, so £395.89. The 4 genuine VW wheel trims cost me £304.56. I've been trying to make this a museum piece basically, and I couldn't really cut any corners, so it is what it is. The paintwork cost me £455, but for that it was quite a time-consuming job. So Jimmy has removed the front bumper, repaired the grille and repaint and refit, pressure wash, clay bar, buff, polish and wax full vehicle, and he also repainted the original wheel trims, which I've now got as a spare, plus a general clean-up. That cost me £455. So if we add all this together, the grand total is £2,302.14, plus the £3,000 I paid for it. That takes my total to £5,302. £5,300 for an 08 Golf. But what I've done, well, what is this worth? It's such a tricky one to value. I figured it would be worth £6,000, £7,000, but I think it's worth a bit more. Granted, it isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I think with this kind of thing, it can just sit in the showroom until we find the right person. Somebody might want something like this just as a piece of history or something. You know, somebody's parent might have had one, or child might have had one, or, you know, all those sorts of things. That's often the case when you've got something mundane but pristine. People have got nostalgic connections with these kinds of things. So I'm thinking I might advertise this for £8,000, £9,000, something like that. Sounds silly, but you never know, do you? I had a quick look on Auto Trader and there is nothing, well, that's no surprise, but there is nothing out there even remotely similar. Who knows? It's taken me about a month to do, I suppose, but it has been quite rewarding. I enjoy doing this sort of thing. I love getting something which looks like it's only fit for the scrapyard and then making it look like this. Well, anyway guys, I think that's about it. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.